For joining us. This is so far just a provisional measure on the part of the International Court of Justice, you would agree, sir?
Yes, it is. We asked for a provisional measure because the briefing of the case depends on also how much time Pakistan wants to put in their reply to the petition which we have filed. Both parties will file memorials and then we go to a hearing. But we couldn't wait that long because there was a timeline issue. So we asked for provisional measures. We got provisional measures, and tentatively 15th we may have to be there. So we are on call. We told the court any day it wants next week we are available.
Mr. Salve, we've made a compelling case before the courts, but Pakistan says it doesn't have to submit itself to the jurisdiction of the ICJ. Would you agree? Was that a deflection on their part?
Well, I don't want to comment on that. If there are two ways in which one deals with jurisdiction. One is every court, especially a plenary court like this, has the power to decide upon its own jurisdiction. So if you, like we went and told when in the Marshall Islands case, it was our case that the courts didn't have jurisdiction. And they accepted it and they dismissed the petition. So the absence of jurisdiction itself is a matter which you argue in the court.
We've made a compelling case, obviously. What was the thrust of the argument, sir?
Well, you can actually, I think it makes good reading. There is a two-page paraphrase of our case which has been issued by the International Court of Justice. Plus, in their usual transparent style, they put our pleadings on their website. The bottom line of our case is that there is a standalone obligation for consular access, which is not just the right of the state, but also the right of the accused. And that is basically meant that right from the time you're arrested in a foreign country, you have the benefit of consular access, because that now is a facet of also your human rights under the ICCPR, the Covenant on Civil and Political Rights. Because fair trial today is accepted as one of the fundamental facets of human rights. And if you're caught in a strange place, the whole idea of spending taxpayers' money on consulates is this.
Mr. Salve, how do you think Pakistan can legally approach this from here on? Because its political establishment is very risible at the prospect of this intervention, saying that, oh, you cannot interfere in the internal affairs of Pakistan, etc., etc. So how do you see them framing a response, if at all?
To be honest, the reaction which has come is a political reaction, and I think the political government will be best equipped to deal with that. If there was any, let's see what their legal issues they raise. That will come on the website. It will be available to everybody. And when we have to give a response, the response we will give appropriately. So at that time. But I think the comment which we are hearing right now is more like a political comment, and I wouldn't like to respond to that.
Yeah, quite obviously. Now, I just wanted to ask you, because, every time India has described this in its various communiques, it has called it an attempted premeditated murder. Now, how does this add up to this? The Pakistani military court's verdict, how does it add up to a premeditated murder?
Let's be clear. We are not in appeal against the verdict per se. If it's the process and not the product which the world with the International Court of Justice will review, if you understand what I mean. Mm-hmm. One thing is the merits of a verdict, the other thing is the manner in which the verdict is arrived at. And in all international fora, it is now acknowledged that there has to be a proper procedure followed. Once a proper procedure is followed, then the court will not interfere, but I'm reminded of a sentence which appeared when America argued. One of the earlier cases was brought against America, where some people were arrested, and that they were, I think, arrested for a bank robbery or something. And one of the arguments of America was that they are being tried in the American criminal justice system, and will the International Court of Justice look at the way American courts work? And the answer was, well, if we have to, we will.
What was the process or procedure that Pakistan stands in violation of? What is it exactly that We have a problem.
There are provisions under the Vienna Convention, under which when a person is arrested, you have to, as soon as possible, inform the council. The council of the country from which he belongs has a right of access to the person. The basic idea is you're caught in a place where you're a stranger. So people from your country are there to help you. And the second right is that the council can provide you assistance in the course of your trial. And that becomes extremely important.